We'll just start up here in the front and work our way around. It does have a light for hooking up at nighttime. It has the up and down button so that you can extend it or retract it. We're going to go ahead and run it up just a little bit because we're going to do the 4-point leveling. We do have two 30-pound cylinders that are full except for what we use to service the trailer. The arrow on the regulator is pointing towards that one over there. As soon as that tank would happen to come up empty, it's going to turn red inside the eye, indicate that the bottle it's pointed to is empty. Then all you have to do is switch it over to the other side, work off of this bottle over here, while you take that one to town and have it refilled. See, it's going to turn red like that. So we're going to flip it right back over to where it's green so the furnace stays running. And you don't have to worry about taking the cylinder off and the gas leaking out that side. If you flip the arrow over to this tank here, it'll automatically pick up from it, start working off of it while you take that one off and take the town. There is also a pretty neat little deal. There is instructions on how to hook your batteries up inside the battery box. You can hook up one battery, two batteries, or two 6-volts. It shows you a diagram of how to do all three of them on the inside of the lid, so you never have to worry about hooking the battery up backwards. The unit does have one new Ellis battery on it right now. It does have an inverter. When the trailer sold it, we'll get the second one, and there is also a set of jumper wires to go between the two batteries inside the unit. It also has a battery disconnect behind the bottle on the off-door side. It is in the on position right now. It does have an off position on it, so when you're not using the unit for a long period of time and you want to save all the juice that's left in the battery, you just turn the battery disconnect back to the off side and it saves whatever battery's voltage is in the two batteries on the front of the unit. It also has a 7-way holder on it that keeps the 7-way up off the ground and your two chains. Your bottle rack has two holes on the bottom of it, so you can put a bungee cord underneath it, underneath the metal rack to hold it in place. But it also has the quick disconnect on the front, top, so that you don't have to take the cover off every time you want to get in the unit and turn the cylinders on or off. As we start down the offshore side, the first connection is a vent for the kitchen sink drain. We also have the outside of the hot water heater. It is gas and electric. Before you turn on gas or electric, either way, you want to pop the pop-off valve. Make sure you have water coming out of the top before you turn on electric or gas, either way. Also has an anode rod down here in the bottom that is also the drain plug for draining the hot water heater in between trips and for winterizing and dewinterizing purposes. It is an 1 1/16 socket, takes the anode rod out, but an anode rod is more than just a plug. It is a plug that draws all the impurities out of the water to that anode rod, eats the anode rod up instead of eating up the inside of the tank. Anytime the steel rod in the center is showing, it's time to replace it. We have a switch on the off-door side that turns our docking lights on the front of the trailer on. We have another hookup light on this side over here, so that while you're hooking up your water connections, your cable, your satellite, does give you a little light on this side over here. We're going to go back to the electronic leveling. I'm going to go ahead and turn that light off so I don't have to look at it. But all you have to do on the auto leveling, and there is instructions on this side over here, it tells you step by step what you need to do to take it on or off the vehicle. So we're going to act like we've already unhooked from the vehicle. We pulled it away. We left the jack in the up position. We're going to turn the button on. It shows you ready. It tells you there's 14.2 volts in the batteries on the unit. You can use your arrows up and down. You can go to manual level, enter to begin. We can go back to auto retract rear, enter to begin. We can go back to auto retract hitch height. Auto hitch height unavailable. Then it goes back to being ready and 14.2 volts in the batteries. So all you have to do here is we're going to hit auto level, and then we're going to stand back and watch it do its thing. It's going to ground the jacks, tongue jack first, then it might bring it back up. But every time it does, it analyzes what the jacks are doing. It does the side to side, front to back, and once it's completed level with all four of the jacks, it brings the tongue jack back up off the ground and leaves it off the ground. So here again, it's taking the 2 front jacks down until they hit the ground, and then it'll do its level from side to side. It grounds in between each movement that it does, and then it analyzes, and then it lifts whatever one it needs to lift next. It's kind of weird seeing the tongue jack come off the ground, but that's actually how it works. Now it's grounding 2 rear jacks. Once they come down and hit the ground, it'll analyze itself, and then it'll do the side-to-side pitch. Goes back to grounding, and then it goes back to whichever side it needs to level. Now it's telling you that it's level. It tells you the voltage back in the battery. And if you take a little torpedo level and put on the floor line on either side, it'll tell you it's level from front to back. Same way with your back molding, you can put it on there and it'll show you from side to side that it is level. So now all you have to do is come back up, push the button to turn it off. You're good till you get done camping. But there is instructions on the off-door side. It tells you how to drop it off from the truck and how to reconnect it to the truck, both of them.
And when it's done, that's what your front jack will look like.
Yep, and when it's done, the front tongue jack stays off the ground because it is level with the 4 jacks on all 4 corners. Here again, we're going to come back up to the water fill compartment. It does have a park cable hookup, so if you're at a park that has cable, you can hook to their cable and have their cable on your TV on the inside. Or if you buy the satellite dish that sits out beside the unit, you can hook to this connection over here. You'll have to change your connection on the TV where it's mounted on the wall, but you'll have a satellite that your satellite will pick up. Here again, we're going to go back up to the very tip top. It does have a black tank flush on it, so that while you're dumping your holding tanks, you can hook to that with a water hose and regulator. And when you turn water pressure onto it, it has a little aerator on the inside of the black tank that spins around. Cleans more of the toilet paper debris out of the inside of the black tank only. Here again, you have a city water connect that you can hook to with a water hose and regulator and never have to fill the tank on it. Your next one back is for your winterizing purposes, for when you get ready to winterize the unit. As we start down this side over here, it does have an outside compartment, does have a magnet to hold it up, but it will access you into the valve for the ice maker on the back of the refrigerator. Before we go too far away from it, we're going to come down here to the bottom. There is a 3/4 inch nut inside there that will manually crank the door side slide room in or out. For any reason it won't work off the switch, there is a manual way to crank all three of the slide rooms in and out. Your next one back is for the rain shed. Vent has to be lifted up, allows that flapper to flap, but when you're traveling down the road, you want to make sure that's pressed back in place so that it doesn't sit there and flap in the wind until it breaks itself out. Prefer to bring smoke from the inside of the unit to the outside, not that you burn your groceries, but that flap has to be opened up, allows that flapper to flap back and forth. As we start back down through here again, we do have a pretty good sized compartment at the back of this slide room. Quite a bit of storage inside of it. We're going to go right down below it. It has a 3-inch valve on the galley tank drain. The galley tank is your kitchen sink water only. If we come down underneath the trailer, it has a white pool valve that is the freshwater tank drain for draining the freshwater tank. We're going to step on back a little bit farther. It does have the outside of the furnace. Does pull cold water in the back or cold air in the back, hot out the front. It is kind of hot enough to burn the hair off your hands if you stick your hand in front of it. But I always suggest putting a mud dauber screen over the outside of the furnace for the simple fact, once it's been lit on propane, mud daubers love that smell. They go in there, they build their little dirt nest on the inside of your chambers, which cuts your airflow down and causes your furnace to improperly cycle. Right down below that, there is a freshwater tank fill. Excuse me. That you can put your water hose in, turn water pressure onto it. And it also tells you don't leave the hose in there, just walk off and leave it. What I do is I put my hose in, I turn my water pressure on, I go to the inside monitor panel and I press the freshwater tank and watch it fill up 1/3, 2/3 full. Once it hits full, I come out and I shut the water pressure off going to the tank. If you overfill the tank, can cause it to damage the tank. Here again, the lug nuts on the trailer have been torqued at 100 foot-pounds. The tires are aired up to pressure, which is 80 PSI. And it does have a tire monitoring system on it for the caps. When you go to do the tire monitoring system, the connection is opposite of where the valve is on the tire. Here we're going to come back to the back. We got 2 low water drain points up underneath the skirting on this side over here. We also have a 3-inch valve, which is your black tank water. And we have 2 gray valves. Gray valve 1, that's closest to the dump station, is for the bathroom sink and shower. The one in the very back is for the washer dryer prep. And they call it gray tank too, but that is for your washer dryer prep. We're going to come back in here. There is the box for the outside griddle. There is the griddle. There is a handle for the slide rooms. Does have a 50 amp power cord that is 30 foot long inside the bag. As we step around the back, the 50 amp cord goes on, makes a quarter of a turn, tighten up the black knob. It does have 2 blue lights on the other end, indicating that it has 110 power coming through it. On the very back of the unit, it does prep for a backup camera. We do have a ladder for going up and checking the roof. And it's just my opinion, but the roof is the life expectancy of the trailer. Anything happens to the roof up on top, it will start showing on the 4 corners, inside or out. Usually by the time you can see the wallpaper wrinkling on the inside, it's a little bit too late. Every 90 days, it does not hurt to go up and check it. You don't have to seal it every 90 days, but the quicker you can find a problem up on top and fix it, the better off you are. It also has a hitch in the back already for a bicycle rack, kayak rack, whatever you wanted to put into it. We're going to go ahead and open up this big compartment here. It does have an outside shower that gives you hot and cold running water on this side here. It has a little blue coiled hose that fits into that connection. Quick disconnect like an air hose is, but it also gives you hot and cold running water on this side of the unit. Pretty good sized storage compartment over here. It does have a plastic liner in the bottom of it. We're going to open it back up, close it. Second black hole here Does the bedroom slide? For any reason, the bedroom slide won't work off the switch. You can take the 3/4 inch brass colored handle and manually crank that off door slide in or out, either way you need it to go. We're going to skip right past the door for a minute. Third little black hole here. Does the living room or kitchen slide in or out? For any reason it won't work, the off door slide does have a manual way to crank it in or out. There is also a place to bring the TV to the outside, a 110 outlet to plug it into, and a park cable or antenna hook up right beside the bed. Does have an outside grill, does have a quick disconnect up underneath the edge of the metal here. And it is a quick disconnect like an air hose is. Then all you have to do is come out here, push it in, click it to where it lights. If it doesn't light the first time, leave it run for just about a minute, turn it right back off, and it'll click and light the second time. The griddle is in the box in the back compartment over there, but it does have a table on the outside of it to put your barbecue sauce, your beverage, whatever you're using while you're grilling. One more hole over here. Excuse me, that other hole back there was for the spare tire. This one is for the opposite side of the slide room on the off door side. The hole in front by the griddle runs the spare tire down. I skipped past that too quick, I guess. Here again, we're going to come up to the front. There is a two-prong up here for a satellite dish if you want to put a satellite dish out that will recharge the batteries, and another pretty good sized compartment on this side over here. We're going to go back to the front door. We're going to open it all the way up. Now that the trailer's level, when you bring it out, we're going to bring out the steps. There is a push button underneath each one of the legs. There's 15 to 18 slots in the legs themselves for adjustment. It is more ride strut assist, so it's not heavy. But once it comes out, it lays down. It has to lay flat in the threshold so that the front door fits over the top of it properly without dragging. So we're going to open that back up. Does have a little handle here at the side. Pull the little pin out of it. Grab a hold of this part here. Bring it back out. You put the pin on the inner legs on either side. That rubber bumper is for when it comes up against the trailer. Now we're going to go to the inside. It's going to be a little warm inside here.
And we're happy about that.
Yes, because it's a little chilly out there today.
It wasn't bad till that wind picked up, and then whew.
So on the inside, I do have the first set of interior lights turned on, which gives us the light above us. We're going to come back up to the solar panel reading. It shows you there's 14.4 or 14.3 volts in the batteries on the front of the unit. It shows you what it's put into it. It is bulk, it is full. Here in just a minute, it should show you the temperature. 54 degrees inside the unit. We're going to come over to the thermostat. We're going to hit zone 1. We're showing that it is on gas heat. It is set at 65 degrees. It's bringing the room up to 52 degrees now, but you have your up and down arrows for running your temperature up or down. When you get ready to shut the gas furnace off, all you have to do is hit the off on the bottom side of it and it kicks off. Zone 1 is your main AC and furnace. Zone 2 is your back AC. On your back AC, excuse me, it does have a heat strip in it, so you can use it like a little early morning warmer if you don't want to run the furnace. You can kick the back AC on. It does have the heat strip in it, and it is electric, and it will bring the room temperature up to about 60 degrees. We're going to come over to the monitor panel. Monitor panel showing that the battery life is fully charged. Anytime you push the button close to it's going to show you exactly how much water or liquid is in the tanks. The freshwater tank is empty, but as it fills up while you're filling with your water hose on the outside, you can come in here and watch it fill 1/3, 2/3 full. Once it hits full, you'll want to turn your water pressure off going to that hose. Your black tank, which is your toilet water, is the same way. As you're using the toilet, as it fills up, it'll show 1/3, 2/3 full. Gray tank 1 is your bathroom sink and shower. Gray tank 2 is your prep for your washer and dryer. And your galley tank is your kitchen sink water only. Here again, we're going to come down to the lights right down below it. The first set of lights is the awnings. that turns the 2 awning lights on underneath the awnings on the front of the unit on. It does have a little light by the steps that you can turn on. Gives you a little light for the steps. Accent lighting is going to be on your cabinets. So your interior one is the center row lights in the living and kitchen and hall area. Interior 2 lights is the rest of the kitchen lights up front. You can connect it to Wi-Fi if you wanted to. The second row down below that, you have your bedroom lights on first. You have your water heater on gas, your water heater on electric, which I'm not going to turn either one of them off because it does not have water in the hot water heater tank itself. But then you have a water pump switch that turns the water pump on between your freshwater connection, your freshwater tank, and the pump via the faucets. And then you also have a set of tank heaters underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and turn them on. That actually has heating pads underneath your holding tanks to heat the holding tanks up so you can use it in the wintertime. You have also got 2 awning switches. Awning 1, which is your main one on the side of the unit, and awning 2, which is the awning that's on the slide room up here in front. Then we're going to step right across over to the side from that. We have the 3 slide room switches. As we go ahead, we're going to go ahead and run them out. The first one runs the door side slide out. It's always good to make sure that there's nothing parked up against along the side of that slide or a tree before you start running it out. Here again, we already had them out so we know we're safe right now. There's nothing on either side of it. When it starts ratcheting, let off the button. We're going to go to slide 2, which should be the kitchen slide where the refrigerator and fireplace and stuff is. Makes it so much roomier up in the front. And then your slide room 3 is going to be your bedroom slide, which is in the master bed. Here again, it's also good to make sure there's not a tree up against that area or somebody's parked a vehicle too close to it as the room's going in or out. When it starts ratcheting like that, always let off the button. What it's actually doing is the motor is bouncing on top of the ram that's underneath there. If you keep holding down the button, it can cause one of the teeth to mess up on the motor itself. So once it starts ratcheting, let off a bit. It does have a working fire extinguisher just inside the main door as we come into the unit. We're going to walk out through this side over here. It does have a light switch that turns the 2 reading lights above the recliners on. In between the 2 recliners, there is a cell phone charger mounted to the deck in between. Does have a pretty good sized space right there so you can put the remote controls. Does have a cup holder on either side of the recliners. On the recliners, it does have a handle on the off door side that you can pull up on for them to recline back. We have the slow rising shades, but there is 2 of them in each window. You have like the screened one that gives you kind of a tint so that people can't see him while you're inside the unit. But then you also have the blackout one that comes down, covers over the outside, that blacks it completely out. The light above the table has a little push button here in the front that turns it on and off. There is pretty good sized storage underneath the bench, underneath this side over here. You can put all kinds of games, stuff like that, extra snacks that you don't want the kids to find or whatever. Can always go in the bottom of that bench. As we come to the front of the unit, and that table does not fold down into a bed.
But it does have the little pull out.
It does have a little leaf on it that
extension.
pulls out, that extends out. But before you run the slide room in, you want to make sure that that's pushed back in because it will come up and hit on the side of the cabinet here. Little push button on the light above the kitchen sink. We also have a 110 outlet on either side of the kitchen sink in the front. And we have a USB port on the right hand side. Excuse me. The little button right beside that is for your inverter that turns your inverter on and off. Push in and hold for a minute. It's going to go through its little thing telling you what it's doing. It's going to show you that it's not having to pull from the batteries right now. It is working off the 110 coming through the cord. But to turn it back off, all you have to do is push the button in, hold it for just about a minute. Turn it off, it goes back to the sequence, and then it shuts itself off. The unit has been winterized. That's why it has the balloons on the faucets. But your hot water's on your left-hand side. Your cold water's on the right-hand side. It has pretty good size storage up above it. Lots of good rooms for some cereals and snacks. And I like the fact that them are real wooden cabinets. They're not the old wood covered with plastic. That just amazes me. We do have pretty good size storage underneath it. A lot of little cleaning supplies, stuff like this. This one will also access you into the outside front compartment. They all do have the magnets to hold them in place. We got an extra remote right here that turns the fan on above us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the vent for vent open. Well, I got the vent closed, vent open. And let's see. Let's raise it. We're going to go auto. Let's turn the fan on. That's just turning the fan on and off. Sorry about that. Vent open. Air out. Might be because the batteries are kind of cold in the unit, but it does come on and off. Let's go to the fan speed. Can't get it to do nothing with the batteries cold in it. The batteries are in it, but I think they are cold. It's cold to touching the remote. But it does have the fan speeds up and down. We have the plus and minus. That might have been why the vent wasn't lifting, but no, it's not doing it. Turn the fan on. Might have to warm them batteries up. There is a lot of stuff in the black bag here. It does have a scoop for the ice, where the ice is in there. It does have another TV mount for mounting a TV. It has the filter wrench for the filter, and the filter is in the bottom of this cabinet on this side over here. It has an extra coax cable for hooking a TV up outside. It has a repair kit for the wood inside the unit. Gives you 3 different colors and 2 different markers. Gives you an outside sewer connection. Also gives you a paper or toilet paper holder. Does have 2 more brackets in there for a towel holder that goes in the bathroom in the place that you decide where that you want it at. It also has a filter for the canister in the water compartment down here. Does have the tire monitoring system. It is one of the best tire monitoring systems in the division. And then this book right here tells you everything that I'm telling you, probably in a little better English, probably explained. Does have the monitoring for all the appliances. But it is your customer guidebook. Let me turn my walkie off. Does have the 2 different color shades on all the windows, even the front one. So if you don't want to look at your neighbors, you can pull it all the way down, blacks it out. If you don't mind looking at them, you can leave it tinted so you can see out, but they can't see in. Or if you want them to see in and you want to see out, you can lift it up. Does have a GFCI outlet on the side of the bar in the center. Does have a working LP carbon monoxide detector down here at the bottom. Does give you a loud buzzing noise. Kind of drive you crazy. In here there is 2 hidden panels. You take the 2 screws out of screws out of the bottom of this panel, one on the side here, accesses you into the back of the hot water heater. The water heater valves are turned sideways right now, which makes the antifreeze make a loop at the back of the hot water heater. When you want the hot water heater to fill, you'll turn them both towards the hot water heater, letting the cold water go in the bottom and the hot water come out the top. And you always want to make sure that it's completely full of water before you turn on electric or gas. If you take the 2 screws out of this bottom panel down here and the one on the side, it will actually issue into where the water pump is and the filter canister It is full of antifreeze right now. It does also have a little filter on the side of the water pump. When you get ready to winterize, you fill your freshwater tank up, you kick your pump switch on, it will pump the antifreeze through the canister filter first, through the filter on the water pump second, through all the lines in the faucets. You'll want to run it to where all the pink antifreeze is out of it before you turn your valves for your hot water heater to let your hot water heater fill. And it's just not the kitchen sink, it's the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, your outside shower, your toilet, your shower in the bathroom. Open up all them lines till all the antifreeze comes out before you open up the valves on the back of your hot water heater to fill it. We're going to open up the door. It does have a locking mechanism that locks all 3 doors in place. Screws right into that little brass nut. We're going to come back up here at the top. It's showing you that it has an ice maker on the left hand side. Refrigerator temperature is down to 35 degrees. Freezer temperature is down to -2. It does have an on and off button on the right hand side of that. It is a pretty good sized ice box. You can put a lot of good little food inside of there. We're going to go down to the freezer section. We're going to pull it out. It does have an ice maker on the left hand side in the bottom. So if you want to make ice, you have to pull your little valve on the outside up, which lets water come through the system that will start making ice inside the freezer section itself. Close it back up. Little brass button in the center is for your locking mechanism that holds all 3 of the doors in place. Does have 2 pretty good sized cabinets off to the side of that. The one at the very tip top up here has a little diagram on the inside that you can take a picture of on your phone, and you can Bluetooth into it. It will take you in and show you a lot of good information on the trailer itself. Very self-explanatory how to get to it. Light switch on the side of the cabinet here turns the decorative lighting right above us on. We have the microwave. We're going to reset it. It does have a clock button. Let's say it's 10:30. Hit that clock button again to the 2 center eyes is flash. And the only reason I set the time on the microwave is if I look at it, it doesn't have the right time. I always know the trailer has lost 110 power coming to it. So the first thing I do is I check my refrigerator and make sure I didn't lose my food service in it. Here again, we're going to go right above us. It does have a working smoke detector in the unit. We have a light for the stove top and a fan switch. For that fan switch to work properly, the 2 tabs on the outside vent have to be lifted up. Allows that flapper to flap. Not that you burn food, but to pull smoke from the inside to the outside. The vent on the outside has to be open and the fan has to be on. So we're going to go ahead and leave that light on for a minute. It does have a glass stove top. It's not for cooking. It's to pull up 2 times up out of the way. Brings it up, sets it back, kind of gives you a backsplash for grease. It keeps it from getting on your walls. Little button on the very far right hand side illuminates the valves. When you turn the valve to the highlight position, you let them run for a minute. So you do have to hold them down for a minute till they light. If you turn loose of it too quick, it has a thermocoupler off to the side of it that won't let it light, so you have to push it back in. Hold it for just a minute. Excuse me. All 3 burners up on top will light on top. Anytime they got gas coming through them, they turn red instead of being white. So we're going to flip them right back off. We're going to go down into the oven section down here at the bottom. Same way with it. You turn it to where it says pilot on. Hold down on the button. It has a little striker that works off the side of it. Here again. It takes it a little bit longer to get gas down to the oven side of it. There it goes. There's the pilot lit. So we can let off the button. Let the pilot stay lit for about a minute. Once the thermocoupler right above the pilot turns on, we can dial it up to the temperature you want for the oven to light. No having to dig the old lighter or match out, and it will show you red when it has gas coming through the valve, indicating that it does have gas coming through for the oven. So we're going to flip it right back off. It does have a pretty good sized pan drawer right down below that. There is a cabinet door right here that has a marks as having a trash can in it. Pretty fancy little deal. But if you pull out the handle right above it, it does have a cutting board too.
Ooh, that's nice.
Nice wooden cutting board that comes up. You can chop up your vegetables, clean it off, put it back in storage, slide it back in out of the way, take your scraps, throw down in the trash. 3 pretty good sized drawers in the center. I know mine would have snacks in it.
Mine
Pretty,
too.
pretty good sized cabinet space off the side. There is 2 sets of keys for the unit. One purple key does the lock and deadbolt on the front door, but it'll also do all your outside compartments. The ones that have keys in it that you lock and unlock, the one key does all of them. Here again, we're going to come back. We got another cabinet over here to the side for cereal. We do have a little pedestal that gives you 2 110 outlets, a USB port, and then the little USB port down below it. Little red button goes in. It goes in, hides out of the way. Pop it up. Let it come up. Pull it all the way up. Little red button comes out, holds it in place.
And when it's flat, you can charge your phone on top.
Yep. There's 3 remotes for the unit. Actually, there's 5 remotes for the units. This one is for the TV in the back room. This one is for the little one is for the fireplace to turn it on and off. And it's cold inside the unit, so you might have to rub it a little bit to warm the batteries up. There we go. You can change the color of the flames. Not the color, but how bright they are. So I'm gonna turn them back onto the bright one. You can run your temperature up or down with the 2 bottom arrows. You also have a timer that gives you 1 to 8 hours. Yep, 1 to 8 hours. And then your off and on button. If you lose the remote, you can also do it by touch tone at the front of it. It takes it just a minute for it to warm up. You can already start telling the temperature change in it. Here again, we're going to go back to the TV. This is the TV remote for the front TV. We're going to turn it on. It's going to go through its little spill. The guide shows you what channels are available. We'll go with the Kelly Clarkson Show, Channel 2. Which,
with visible results in just 1 week. Neutrogena.
Which is about 80 miles away from here. That's working off the antenna on top, the booster in the back. You do have your speakers in the ceiling for that. But for a TV station working off an antenna on top of a camper trailer that's 80 miles away, that's a pretty good picture on the TV. I can't watch Kelly too long. She kind of excites me. But there is a remote control for the back TV. There is also a tray for in here. Pull it out, little table. In case you wanted to put a computer or something up on top. Slides back in right out of the way. We also have another 110 outlet behind the couch on the right hand side. Couch will butterfly out into a bed. There is the accent lighting. Gives you lighting in the top of these cabinets here. Lots of room for DVDs, books, puzzles. Here again, we're going to go to the side. We do have the 2 different color shades on every one of the windows. It does have a little knob down here at the bottom to crank the bottom of the window out. Gives you a little cross ventilation if you needed it instead of running the air conditioner.
Not today.
Yeah, little white handle on the side pulls the screen loose for cleaning the inside of the windows. So we're going to step right back where we was. We're going to come into the bathroom area. There's 2 light switches on the bathroom. The first one turns the accented lighting around the medicine cabinet. The other one turns the lights above us on. Let's pull this out, kind of give it a little rub. It's the same kind of remote that's in the front. So we're going to turn it on. We're going to open up the vent. Here, must be getting warm enough in here because it did open the vent this time. Once the vent's all the way up, you can turn the fan speed on. We can go faster with it. Pulls a lot of the heat out, so we're going to shut it back down. We're going to turn the fan off itself. When you turn the fan off, automatically closes the lid back down and it shows you closed on the remote control itself. Might be because the bathroom's got a heat vent right here that kind of heated up the controls in it. Does have another GFCI outlet in the bathroom. The do not use sign on the toilet gets it taped down to keep people from using it when they're not supposed to be used. It does have the water saver on the shower in the back, so that while you're taking your shower, once you get all wet, you can shut that little bracket off down here at the bottom. It'll shut the water flow off for you, soap up. When you get ready to go back, all you have to do is flip it back up and it should come back to the same temperature that it was whenever you shut it off. It also has a little plug in the bottom, so you can use it for a tub for infants if you wanted to. Put a little water to wash the little kids in it. Gives you pretty good sized storage underneath the bathroom sink. It's pretty good sized storage off to the side here. All of them at the very bottom one. The very bottom one is blocked off because that is where your furnace area is. It does have a brown fin on the cabinet down below that brings heat into the toilet area. We do have a round white vent in the ceiling that brings AC into the bathroom area. Door does slide over, clicks into place. As we step into the master bedroom, you have a USB port and a 110 outlet on the cabinet at the bottom. You have another 110 outlet over here by the fire escape window. You have another 110 outlet on either side of the master bed. And your little reading lights up above. Do you have a button that turns them on and off? But they also have a USB port on the top of the mounting bracket. Pretty good sized cabinet space up above, extra pillows, blankets. Pretty good sized closet space off to this side over here. Hang a lot of clothes in there. The second set of doors is your washer dryer prep. Excuse me. The red is the hot side of the water system, the blue is the cold side of the water system. The orange cap is where the drain for the washer goes into. It does have a 110 20 amp outlet inside the cabinet here. Pretty good sized cabinet space down below, both sides. 3 drawers over here for clothes. And if you lift up on the bed, it does have a aluminum frame around the bed that it accesses you into your outside compartment. You can see the griddle top, the box for the griddle itself, the box for the power cord. It does give you 2 drawers underneath here. Quite a bit of storage underneath it. It does have a handle in the center for picking it up and down. We're going to go right over here to the side. It does have a breaker box in the master bedroom. Your 50 amp main being in the front. It shows you what they are from the left hand side to the right. Your general purpose, your converter, kitchen GFI, bathroom GFI, microwave, AC, main, hot water heater, AC, fireplace, washer and dryer prep. Then there are car fuses on the right hand side of that from the top to the bottom are marked. With the second one being skipped, does not have nothing in the second one, and the bottom 3 don't have nothing in it. So if you wanted to add another appliance to it that was 12 volt, you can do that. Anytime one of the 12 volt fuses blow, it does have a red light on the right hand side indicating that that fuse is blown, and can also be seen through the tinted window on the front of the cover. We do have a fire escape window in the master bedroom. Pretty easy to operate. Has a little red knob on the side of the screen. Pulls the screen loose, lets the screen come open. Little red handle in the center comes up. Handle goes all the way through the bottom of the window frame for access out the very back of the unit. Here again, they all got the same shades. Up in there, 2 side windows.
Smart TV.
Smart TV, and the remote for the smart TVs up front. It does have the same channels on the bedroom TV that it has on the master TV in the living room. And I think it was 42 channels is what it picked up off the antenna. I got that number on my iPad too. So we do have the 2 round vents in here. You do have the 2 quick cool downs on this one. And this AC back here also has the heat strip in it, so that if you don't want to run the furnace on these just chilly mornings, you can kick this back AC on. It'll say gas, heat, or electric. Hit it on the electric side of it. It does have a little heat strip up in the top of here that will bring the trailer room temperature up to about 60 degrees. That's basically everything on your, oh, one more fancy thing to show you. We do have a tent for the lights here in the back. Push and hold. The lights will dim out.
Ooh, that's pretty slick.
Mood lighting. Press and hold again. They come back on so you can see.
Wow.
But that is basically everything on your unit. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them the best that I can. And thank you for your time.